सहगणरघुनाथं सदेवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवे दायिताय कृपाब्दये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुरोज्ज्वलप्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भवभूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरवत्से नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपादाम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्याद्रिन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमाधः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भि वंशीवटतटस्थित कर्षन् वेणुस्वनिर्गोपैर्गोपीनाथः श्रीयत्सुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So in the previous class, that is on Sunday, we discussed text 6 and text 7. So somebody can let me know what was the analogy, what was basically text 6, and there was an analogy that was discussed in the verse. Somebody can let me know text 6, what was it about, and the analogy also, or the example that was given. Yes, Jaideep Pro.
Yes, Prabhuji, in text 6, we discussed that it is about the associating with the pure devotees. And in this verse, we know that with how we should associate with, means how we should keep distance, and also we should be with the devotees. Like you have given example of the fire, we should not to be so close and not to be so far.
Okay. Yes, thank you. What I was asking was
Yeah.
in the verse, na Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada mentions about he gives an example and explains the verse. In the verse itself, it is there. So, thank you, Jaideep Pro. Anybody else wants to try? Yeah.
In the verse, it is mentioned about the bodily defects of, even if you see any of a pure devotee, we should not uh, like focus on that. Basically, example was given about the river Ganges. Even the Ganges river has so many muds or maybe some stool or maybe some dead body pass, but still it is transcendental because it is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. So a devotee who has advanced in his spiritual understanding doesn't see through all these impurities, but he focuses on the real essence of Ganges water.
Yeah, just like Ganges may have impurities, may have many unclean things in it, but a person who has knowledge, understands that Ganges is transcendental and takes bath in it, does not see only the external things. Similarly, a pure devotee may have certain bodily defects or certain external defects he may have, but a person who has knowledge, understanding that he is 24 hours engaged in service of the Lord, so he associates with him, hears from him, and serves him, and takes advantage of the association of pure devotees. Yes. Okay, so this was the verse. Purushottam Prabhu, you want to, apart from this, you want to add something or?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was about to talk about text 7 Prabhu.
Okay. ठीक है. Yeah, text 7, can you tell, there is an analogy given in text 7 and the text 7 speaks about something. Can you explain?
Prabhu.
The verse only it is given. What is that?
So we see about chanting of holy name. So
Hmm.
we saw the analogy of a person having jaundice,
Hmm.
taking medication as sugar candy. So initially he will taste bitterness. So we have avidya, so we won't be able to reach the level. While the medication we take it continuously, we get the ruchi. Similarly, we get ruchi to chant the holy names of the Lord Krishna.
So what is the medicine for a person who has avidya? What is the medicine?
He gets to chant Prabhu.
So what is the medicine?
Sugar cane, the same sugar cane.
No, that is for jaundice. For a person who has avidya, what is the medicine?
Bhajana Kriya.
Holy name itself is a medicine, right? We are not able to taste the holy name because of our avidya. So we take that holy name again and again, and to the association of devotees, that medicine, if we regularly continue to take, then that holy name itself will start tasting sweeter and sweeter. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Any other point from text 6 and text 7 you want to add? Somebody else? If nobody has any points to share, then we'll continue. We have to cover two verses. We'll cover two verses, and if time permits, we'll cover the 10th verse also, because these are all very small verses. So maybe today and tomorrow we'll complete this verses, and also I'll give a brief overview of how to write OBA, open book answers, and also there are 5 questions are there, I think, in open book assignment. So out of that you have to answer 2 questions, right? So that also we'll discuss. So by tomorrow we'll end. Then next weekend we'll have Shloka test, and after that next weekend there will be closed book assessment, and after that Ishopanishad will start. Okay. So okay.
Yes, bro.
No, nothing, bro. Recording is started, no?
Yes.
Okay. Nandan, bro, you could get that recording, text 7.
Yes, Prabhuji, it was available.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sri Gaur Bhakt Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I searched in BVRV, that YouTube channel, Prabhuji, but I'm unable to find last class recording, Prabhuji.
No, they have put yesterday. Yesterday I met after 1 o'clock. Now they've again uploaded it. Earlier they had uploaded only this thing. Nandan Pro has found it. It is there. You can check once today. Okay, na?
Okay, Prabhuji.
In case it's not there, you can contact me. My number is there with you. You can call me directly. Okay, na? It's
Okay,
there.
Prabhuji.
Haribol. So we'll discuss today text 8. Text 8 speaks about the essence of all advices, right? So till now we have seen many instructions, nectar of all instructions, right? Nectar of instruction. So today we will be seeing the essence of all those advices in text 8, right? So now till now text 1 to 7 discussed about Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. From text 8 to 11 we will be discussing about Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, right? Yeah, text 1 to 7 Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, that is from Shraddha to Ruchi, right? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, right? Nishta. After Nishta comes Nishta, Ruchi, right? So,
Asakti, Prabhuji.
yeah, Asakti and Ruchi. Then after that comes Bhava, Prema, and so on. So text 1 to 7 is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti that we already discussed. So now text 8 is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, wherein this Asakti comes. So up to Ruchi, that is text Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Now that we will be discussing is Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti, right? That is spontaneous devotional service in practice. So here Srila Rupa Goswami gives the essence of all advice to fix one's mind on Lord Krishna without deviation by constantly hearing and chanting about him and remembering his pastimes, right? So this is the verse. So I will be reciting the verse. You can repeat behind me, right? Tannama Rupa Charita Disukirtinanu
Charitaati Sukirtananu
Vrityokramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya
Nrityokrameena rasana manasi
Niyojya
niyojya
Ishtan Raje Tadanuragi Jananugami
Tishtan rajetadanuragami
Kalam Nayedakilamithi Upadeshasaram.
Kalam nayed akilam iti upadesha saram.
Yeah. So I'll just go to the verse here. If you see now how to remember the translation of the verse, right? And how to remember from the translation, you can remember the verse also. So I'll just explain you a little bit on this because it is a bigger verse, right? So you can see just how the particular translation starts. It starts from the essence of all advice, right? It means if I want to explain the particular verse, we can start it from here. Upadesha Saram. The translation is starting from Upadesha Saram, right? So now basically I'll read the verse and I'll go back and read the translation of the verse and go back and explain how it can be remembered from the verse itself, right? So what is the translation? The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time 24 hours a day in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's mind, one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Golok Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service, right? So from that translation, I can remember the verse itself, and from the verse, I can tell the translation also. So how did the translation start? Upadesha Saram, right? The essence of all advice. So if you want to remember it, you know the verse. Now if you want to explain, so it has to be like this. Upadesha Saram, right? The essence of all advice. What is the essence of all advice? Kalam Nayed Akilam, right? Kalam Nayed Akilam means what? Nayed means utilizing all one's time. Akilam means all one's time, right? Kalam. So the essence of all advice is what? Is to utilize, right? All one's time or 24 hours in what? Right? So this was the first line. In what we have to utilize the time? Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtinanu Smrityo, right? So this is the second line. So the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time or 24 hours a day in what? Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo. Sukirtananu Smrityo means one should utilize one's full time in chanting and remembering. Sukirtinano, right? Sukirtanano means in chanting and remembering. Chanting, remembering what? Tan. Tan means of Lord Krishna. Of Lord Krishna. Chanting and remembering Lord Krishna's name, form, pastimes, right? Pastimes. So one should, the essence of all advice is to utilize one's full time or whole time in chanting and remembering Lord Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes. And by this, Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya, right? And like this, what one should do? Gradually. Kramena means gradually one should engage. Rasana means tongue and Manasi means mind. One should engage the tongue and mind in Lord's service. Niyojya. One should engage. Rasana Manasi. Kramena. Gradually one should engage the tongue and mind in the Lord's service. Then what one should do? then one should Tishtan Vraje, right? One should reside in Vrindavan Dham. Tishtan Vraje, right? While residing in Vrindavan Dham, one should engage completely in the service of the Lord, right? Under the guidance of Anuragi, under the guidance of those devotees who are attached to the service of the Lord, under the guidance of those Brajavasis who are attached to the service of the Lord, and one should Jananugami, one should follow in their footsteps and engage in the service of the Lord, right? So this is the verse and this is the translation. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Vraje Tadunuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayeda Kilamiti Upatesha Saram, right? So this is how you can remember the verse and you can remember the translation of the verse. Yeah. So we'll just go through the PPT quickly and then we'll go to the... So this verse basically deals about Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service and practice. So, stage of training. Text 8 talks of a stage beyond Anarthi Nivritti, Nishtha and Ruchi, right? So presently we are somewhere in between Shraddha or Sadhu Sangha, right? Somewhere in between Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya. So now what we are talking is a stage which is far beyond our stage, right? Far beyond our stage, because we are somewhere in Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, right? Or Anartha Nivritti. But what we are talking about is a stage which is beyond Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha and Ruchi. So this is a stage, this verse basically talks about a stage where our mind is free from all disturbances. At this stage, training is based on the service to the devotees in Vrindavan. This is a stage which takes from Vaidhi, regulative bhakti, which we are presently doing, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, to Raganuga bhakti or spontaneous devotion. Raganuga bhakti or spontaneous devotion. Just keep my mobile silent. Yes, this verse describes the method or process of bhajan as well as the topmost or best place for performing bhajan. So here this verse speaks about Tannama Rupa Charitadi, what bhajan we should do, or the method or process of bhajan, and also Tishtan Vraje, the topmost or the best place for performing bhajan. So basically 3 concepts are discussed in this text: training the tongue and mind, Rasana Manasi Niyojya, why to train the mind and how to train the mind. This is what is discussed. So training, so this basically starts the purport for this verse. Training the tongue and the mind. Prabhupada speaks in the verse or in the purport that since the mind may be one's enemy or one's friend, we have already understood this in the Bhagavad Gita, that mind can be your best friend also, and mind can be your best enemy also, right? One has to train the mind to become his best friend, right? So since it can be our enemy or it can be friend, so we have to train the mind to make it our friend, which is basically spoken in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter 5th verse. Uddharedātman atmanam natmanam avasaret atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanah, right? So since the mind can be our bandhu also, and it can be our ripu, that is, it can be the greatest enemy also. So uddhared, right? So one should deliver oneself by the help of the mind, right? One should deliver oneself by the help of the mind by controlling the mind and making it our friend. So Krishna conscious movement is especially meant for training the mind. The association of devotees, the ISKCON society, is meant for training the mind. So how can you train the mind? It starts with the tongue, right? Chanting Krishna Katha and honoring Krishna Prasad. And the mind, how can you train the mind? Remember the Lord 24 hours a day, or by always engaging in Lord Krishna's business, right? So there are 2 ways you can control the mind: by remembering the Lord 24 hours a day, right? Or by always engaging in Lord Krishna's business. We may not be so elevated to remember Lord Krishna 24 hours a day. Therefore, we should always engage in Lord Krishna's business 24 hours a day. And that starts, right, engaging the senses in the Lord's service, and the king of all the senses is tongue. So therefore, the tongue has to be engaged in chanting Krishna Katha, chanting the holy names of the Lord, and honoring Krishna Prasad. So why to train the mind? Because we want to make the mind our best friend. And also there are many past impressions of many lifetimes in our mind, right? So we have been living in this material world from millions and millions of lifetimes, right? So therefore, all that kachra that is there of the millions or millions of lifetimes is there in the mind, because mind carries everything, right? Just like in the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, it is told that mind carries the impressions just like the air carries all the bad smell or the good smell through the place where it passes through. Like consider that the air passes through dirty garbage, then it carries that smell. Air passes through rose garden, it carries the fragrance of the rose. Similarly, the mind also, as the spirit soul is passing through many different yonis, many different species of life. So along with the soul is going the subtle body also, that is mind, intelligence, false ego. So all that we have accumulated, all that we have seen, spoken, everything is imprinted in the mind. So there are many past impressions, some good impressions, some bad impressions, right? So we need to purify our past impressions of many lifetimes, right? So therefore, we actually cannot become proud in this particular life that, oh, I am very great devotee, or I have very great taste for the holy name, or great taste for hearing, because from many millions of lifetimes there are so many impressions in the mind, right? We need to purify that. So becoming humble in the association of devotees, we should come, and if we chant, hear Krishna Katha, serve the devotees humbly, then we can purify our mind. Otherwise, if we don't purify the mind, then we can be put in a very precarious condition. It can lead to a very dangerous contradictory pictures, right? So students of psychology are aware of the mind's various psychological changes. So why we want to purify the mind? Because ultimately at the time of death we want to remember Lord Krishna, which is spoken in Bhagavad Gita 8.5 and 6. What is that? Yam yam va apismaran bhavam tyajattante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Right? So yam yam va apismaran bhavam tyajattante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Right? Whatever yam yam va apismaran bhavam tyajattante kalevaram. Tyajattante kalevaram matlab Kalevaram, right? Ante. When we are going to quit this body, Tejatante Kalevaram, right? Whatever state, whatever we remember at the point of death, right? That is what we will be, that type of body we will be getting in the next life. Tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavita will receive in the next life, right? And also antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati sadma samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. Krishna is telling that muktva kalevaram, right? While giving up this body, if somebody remembers me, antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam, he will attain my abode, or he will attain the same body that I have, right? That is a spiritual body. There is no need to doubt about this. That is what Krishna is telling. Yat yati nasti atra samshaya. So therefore, since at the time of death, whatever we remember, that is what we will receive, that type of body we will receive in the next life. Better we can train our mind to remember Krishna at the time of death, so that we will receive a body as good as Krishna, or we will receive a spiritual body, Sachidananda body, and we will go back to Godhead, right? Yes. So, what is the advice, or the king of all advices, or the essence of all advice that Srila Rupa Goswami is giving advice? Train the mind in order not to remember anything other than Lord Krishna, specifically at the time of death. So, if we want to remember Krishna at the time of death, that is what we have to practice throughout the life, right? So, whatever we have remembered throughout the life, that is what we will remember at the time of death. So, how to train the mind? Basis of training: cultivating remembrance. So, remembrance is facilitated by three things. So, if you want to remember Krishna, then there are three things required: residence, service, and process. Right? So, about residence, Tishtan Vraje resides in Vrindavan or any part of Rajbhumi, 84 crores. 1 crore is equal to 2 square miles. That is 84 crores. So, Vrindavan Dham is 84 crores. So, anywhere in any part of Vrindavan we can reside. So, if you want to remember Krishna, then we have to reside in Vrindavan under the shelter of the advanced devotee, and think of Lord Krishna, his pastimes, and his beloved associates. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, that is Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami gives this sloka: Krishnam smaran janam chasya preshtam nija samhitim tattat kata ratas chaso kuryad vasam varje sada. So here, what does this verse speak? By following in the footsteps of such associates and in their guidance, one can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Lord, right? So, so why we want to reside in Vrindavan? Because we want to acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Lord, following the footsteps of his dear associates, right? Like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Rani, the gopis of Vrindavan. Yes, one is residence. Remembrance is cultivated by residence, service, and the process. So, what is service? Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuna karya vraja lokanusarataha. Serve the Supreme Lord with feeling similar to that of his associates. That is either Shantaras, Dasyaras, then comes this thing Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, and Madhuryaras. So in these five feelings, right, we should serve the Supreme Lord under direct guidance of a particular associate of the Supreme Lord by following in his or her footsteps, applicable in both the sadhana and the sadhya stage. Sadhana is basically spiritual practices executed in bondage, and sadhya is executed in the stage of God realization, in the siddha stage, right? In both of the stages, presently we are in a sadhaka deha, or we are doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, right? So we are under bondage. So in both of these stages, right, we should follow in the footsteps of the Brajavasis. And for us, in the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, the Brajavasi that we have to follow is our own spiritual master and our eternal Siksha Guru, or the Siksha Guru for the whole of ISKCON society, Srila Prabhupada. So first, in this Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, we have to follow their instructions, right? And then develop a deep attachment or a deep taste for chanting of the holy names of the Lord, chanting of Krishna Katha, hearing of Krishna Katha. Then comes this stage which Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is talking about in text 8. Yes, we'll go to the purport and then we'll come back to this. Yes, somebody can read the translation and the purport also.
The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind in this way. One should reside in Vraja, Goloka Vrindavana Dhama, and serve Krishna under the guidance of the devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord's beloved devotee, who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
Yes,
Since
purport.
the mind may be one's enemy and or one's friend, one has to train the mind to become his friend. The Krishna conscious movement is especially meant for training the mind to be always engaged in Krishna's business. Mind contains hundreds and thousands of impressions, not only of this life, but also of many, many lives of the past. This impression sometimes come in contact with one another and produce contradictory pictures. In this way, the mind's function can become dangerous for a conditioned soul. Students of psychology are aware of the mind's various psychological changes. In Bhagavad Gita 8.6, it is said, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam त्यजत त्यजति अन्ते कलेवरम तम तम एवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, the state he will attain without fail. At the time of the death, the mind and intelligence of a living entity create the subtle form of a certain type of body for the next life. If the mind suddenly thinks of something not very congenial, one has to take corresponding birth in the next life. One, on the other hand, if one can think of Krishna at the time of death, he can transfer to the spiritual world. Golok Vrindavana. This process of transmigration is very subtle. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami advises devotee to train their minds in order that they will be able to remember anything other than Krishna. Similarly, the one the tongue should be trained to speak only of Krishna, to taste only Krishna Prasad. Srila Rupa Goswami further advises Tishtan Vraje. One should live in the Vrindavana or any part of Vrajabhumi. Vrajabhumi on the land of Vrindavana is supposed to be crores, 84 crores in the area. 1 crores are equal to the 2 square miles. When one makes Vrindavana his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. In this way, one should always think of Krishna and his pastimes. This is further elucidated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
Yes.
A devotee should always always. Prabhuji, can I read this? Can I read this text, Prabhu?
No, you can
Krishna's-
direct read the translation. We already seen the text. You can direct read the translation.
A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Vraja and always engage in Krishnam Smaran Janam Chasya Preshtam. The remembrance of Sri Krishna and his beloved associates. By following in the footsteps of such associates and by entering under their eternal guidance, one can acquire the intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, somebody else can continue.
Again, Sri Rupa Goswami states in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.295. In the transcendental realm of Vrajadama, one should serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates. And one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practices executed while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sadhya, God realization, when one is a Siddha Purusha or a spiritually perfect soul.
Yeah. So we'll go back to this thing, PPT, and we'll come back to the purport. Yes. So thank you. So here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on this particular verse. So what does Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells? By following the rules and regulations prescribed in the previous verses, that is text 1 to 7, sadhaka should draw one's mind away from everything, right? That is unrelated to Sri Krishna. All the unwanted anarthas, unwanted thing, we should withdraw our mind from everything which is not related to Krishna and engage one's tongue in performing kirtan of Lord Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela, right? Rasana, Manasi, Niyojya. That is what the verse states. So, by following what is told in the previous verses, we should withdraw our mind from everything that is not connected to Krishna and engage one's tongue in performing kirtan of Lord Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna and Leela. Tan Nama, Rupa, Charitadi, Sukirtananu, Smrityo, right? We should engage in chanting and remembering. Then eventually one's mind will be able to enter into constant remembrance of Lord Krishna, Smarana, right? So, first comes Shravana, Kirtana, and then comes Smarana, right? So, when we properly hear and chant the Lord's holy name, Lord's holy katha, then we will be automatically be able to remember the Lord Krishna, about Lord Krishna, we will be able to remember Lord Krishna and his pastimes and his qualities. So, then, while residing in Braja, Tishtan Braje, right? While residing in Braja, one should utilize all one's time, right? Akhila, all one's time, right? Executing these activities under the guidance of devotees who are apt at releasing Brajarasa, Tad Anuragi Jana, right? This is the essence of all instruction, Upadesha Saram. So, with the intention of incessantly executing the gradual process of sadhana, one should utilize every moment of the life by Kramena Kalam Nayed. Engaging the tongue in nicely performing kirtan, Sukirtananu of Shri Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes, Tam Nama Rupa Charitadi, and then the mind in smaran or remembrance upon them. That is Mrityo, right? So the verse, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, both of them comment like this, right? That by following that which is spoken in the previous 7 verses, we should withdraw our mind from everything that is unwanted, that is not connected to Krishna, and engage the tongue in chanting the Nama Rupa, Tan Nama Rupa Charitadi of Sri Krishna, and gradually by remembering Lord Sri Krishna, and then following in the footsteps of Tad Anuragi Jananugami, right? We should engage our full time in the Lord Krishna's service, right? So this is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speak about this verse or comment on this verse. So all this process, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells that the process should be executed while residing in Braja, Niyojya Tishtan Braje, and under the guidance of devotees who are immersed in Braja Rasa, Tad Anuragi Jana. So we discussed about residence, right? For remembering, we require 3 things: residence, the process, and there was one more thing.
Service.
Yeah, service. Residence, service, and the process. So we discussed about service and residence, the process. Yes. So process is remembrance of Krishna and his eternal associates. So this is an important thing that we need to understand, that Shravana Dasa, Varana Dasa, and Smarana Avastha. So remembrance of Krishna and his eternal associates, different progressive stages from hearing to remembrance and further training the mind. So Shravana Dasa means what? Is a stage of hearing, right? So in the neophyte stage, we should constantly try to hear Krishna Katha. Neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. Always we should try to hear, right? Either we are driving car or cooking for the Lord, or whatever we are doing, we should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. By constantly hearing, one gradually becomes more and more mature. So the process for going back to Godhead, the first process is Shravanam, right? So the first process is Shravanam. So we should constantly try to engage in hearing Krishna Katha. Then we will become mature in devotional service, right? Ripe in devotional service. Varanadasha. Then comes the second stage is Varanadasha, where the stage of acceptance, right? We start accepting the path of devotional service. One becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha, and one starts performing Kirtan. One becomes attached, means without hearing Krishna Katha, his day will not go. He will feel that he has wasted his day if he has not heard Krishna Katha, right? So that is called as Varanadasha, where he has become attached, right? So without hearing Krishna Katha, he cannot survive, right? It feels something is empty. Shunnaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virehename, right? He becomes, if he is not able to hear Krishna Katha, he feels separation, right? One becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha and performs, and then one can perform Kirtan. By performing Kirtan with a specific devotional mood, one is cultivating, right? Either Sakya Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, or Madhurya Ras. Specific devotional mood one is cultivating. One enters Smarana Avastha, where he will be able to remember, the stage of remembering. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, one attains this stage. So first stage comes hearing, wherein one constantly continues hearing. Then comes a stage of acceptance, where he becomes attached to the hearing process, and one performs Kirtan. And by performing Kirtan, he enters a stage of ecstatic devotional service, or Smarana Avastha, where he is chanting in ecstasy, right? So he attains this stage: Shravana Dasa, Varana Dasha, and Smarana Avastha. So further, Prabhupada explains about these 5 stages in the purport. That is, there are 5 items of progressive Krishna Smaranam. So in Krishna Smaranam, there are 5 stages. That is Smarana, Dharana, Dhyana, Anusmriti, and Samadhi. We will study this in detail in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. These are different processes of yoga ladder also, right? Wherein the first, the lowest stage of yoga ladder is Karma Yoga, then comes Jnana Yoga, then Ashtanga Yoga, then comes Bhakti Yoga, right? So in that, you'll study this in detail, right? So Smarana, recollection, remembrance of Lord Krishna may be interrupted or distracted at intervals, right? You may remember Lord Krishna after you properly do hearing and chanting, then the remembrance of Lord Krishna starts, but that remembrance may be disturbed or interrupted at intervals. That is called as Smarana. That stage is called as Smarana. Dharana, or absorption. Later on, remembrance proceeds without interruption. So if remembrance is proceeding without interruption, that is called as Dharana. Dhyana, remembrance becomes concentrated, just like milk, right? If you keep on heating milk, then what happens is it becomes concentrated, it becomes rabdi, right? So remembrance becomes very much concentrated. He is able to clearly meditate or meditate the Vrindavan Dham, meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, right? So after dhyana, after the remembrance becomes concentrated, then comes constant remembrance, anusmriti. When meditation expands and becomes constant, he is able to constantly, 24 hours a day, able to remember or meditate on Lord Krishna's pastimes on Lord Krishna. Then comes samadhi, uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, right? Entirely free from impediments and uninterrupted. He is completely into samadhi. His mind is completely into Vrindavan Dham or in remembering Lord Krishna's pastimes. So smarana, dharana, dhyana, anusmriti, samadhi. So from hearing to remembrance and further training of the mind, technically the stages are called as Shravana Dasha, the stage of hearing, Varana Dasha, stage of acceptance, which we already seen, and Smarana Vasta, stage of remembering. And the stage of remembering five types we already seen, right, in the previous verse. These are the 5 types of remembrance: Smarana, Dharana, Dhyana, Anusmriti, and Samadhi. So beyond this, what is there? Then Shravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, Smarana Vasta, 5 types of remembering also we have seen. Then after that comes Apana Dasha and Sampatti Dasha. This is the perfection of life. After Smarana Dasha or Samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand one's original constitutional position, right? The spirit soul comes to understand what is his original constitutional position, what is his position in the spiritual world, whether he is a servant of the Lord, or he is a friend of the Lord, or he is a protector, or the what is that? He is a father or mother of the Lord, or he is a one of the lovers of the Lord. His constitutional position he will be able to understand, and then one obtains, that is called as Apana Dasha, and obtains one spiritual form in spiritual term, that is called as Sampatti Dasha. So these are the different stages in progressive devotional service: Shravana Dasha, Varana Dasha, Smarana Vasta, which has 5 types, and then Apana Dasha and Sampatti Dasha. Yes. So Chaitanya Charitamrit, this is the last part of this particular verse. Chaitanya Charitamrit advises on the essence of all instructions in the matter of devotional service. For neophyte, give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in the regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the directions of scriptures. Regulative devotional service matlab Shravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Vandana, the nine stages, nine processes of devotional service. Thus, a neophyte gradually develops attachment, that is asakti, which is spoken in this verse, for Lord Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities, activities, and so forth. Advanced stages: when one has developed attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities, and so forth, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Lord Krishna even without following the regulative principles. Right? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti has regulative principles to be followed. That is, getting up early in the morning, associating with devotees, hearing Bhagavad Katha, right? Regularly coming to temples. So when one is on the advanced stage of spontaneously serving, he has already developed attachment for Nama Rupa Guni Lila. Then even if it does not following the regulative, even if it does not follow the regulative principles, it doesn't matter. But an advanced devotee, like you can see our spiritual masters, they also get up early in the morning. They attend Mangalarti. They attend Bhagavatam classes, right? Even though they may be on the spontaneous stage, right? Still to set an example for other devotees, for neophytes like us, for us to follow. Even an advanced devotee, even if he does not follow the regulative principles, it does not matter. But still, he follows to set an example. So this stage is called as Raga Bhakti, or devotional service in spontaneous love, where he has developed an attachment for the hearing for Krishna's Nama Rupa Gunalila, right? At that stage, the devotee can follow in the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Lord Krishna and Vrindavan. So when will that stage come when we have to follow the footsteps? When we have developed an intense attachment for Krishna's name, form, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes, and so on, right? Till that time, we should perform a Vedi sadhana bhakti, getting up early in the morning, right? Attending Mangalarti, chanting of holy names, association of devotees, hearing Krishna Katha, serving the devotees, right? And engaging in our occupational duty. It should go on, right? It should go on till we develop an attachment for Nama Rupa Guna Lila of the Lord. So this is called as Ragana Bhakti, or spontaneous devotional service, following in the footsteps of those devotees who have developed an attachment, or those devotees, pure devotees who stay in Vrindavan and who are eternal associates with the Lord. Ragatmika Bhakti Mukya Vrajavasi Jane Tara Anugata Bhaktira Raga Anuga Name, right? So, following in the footsteps of Rajavasis, the bhakti that is performed is called Tara Anugata Bhaktira. Nama is what? Raganuga Name, right? Yeah, Raganuga Bhakti can be executed in any of the 5 rasas. Shanta rasa, right? Shanta rasa means basically one aspires to be like Lord Krishna's cows, or the stick or flute in his hand, or the flowers around his neck. That is, Shanta rasa basically means that they are just in, they are basically stunned by Lord Krishna's qualities or Lord Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. So that is Shanta rasa, where they are not rendering any service, but they are basically in basically they are stunned to see the Lord's form or Lord Krishna's qualities, like cows, right, or stick or flute, right, or flowers around his neck. These are all in Shantarasa. Then comes Dasarasa, where they are rendering some service to the Lord. One follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka, Patraka, or Raktaka. Shakya Rasa, one can become a friend like Baladev, Sridama, or Sudama, Lord Krishna's group of friends. Vatsalya Rasa, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And Madhurya Rasa, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or a lady friend such as Lalita and her serving maids like Roop and Rati. Yes, so Chaitanya Charitamrita, this verse is also there regarding this particular text 8. Lobe Brajavasira Bhave Kare Anugati Chastra Yukti Nahi Mane Raganuga Prakriti. This is the nature of spontaneous devotion. What is that? The sadhana of Raganuga Bhakti is of 2 types. Bhaya, externally one performs hearing and chanting in the sadhaka deha, the outer feature of the practitioner, whereas internally, Antara, what he does internally while contemplating one's own perfected spiritual form, one renders service to Krishna in Vraja day and night. So, a Raganuga Bhakta has understood what is his spiritual form in the spiritual world. So, contemplating on his spiritual form, one renders service to Sri Krishna in Vraja day and night. While residing in Vraja, one should immerse oneself in hearing narrations of the eternal devotees who serve in the mood for which one aspires. This is the essence of all instruction in the matter of bhakti. So, this is about the glories of Rajamandala. There is no greater place than Rajamandala to perform bhajan of Sri Radha Krishna. Therefore, even such exalted devotees as Brahma and Uddhava pray to take birth there as a blade of grass or a shrub. What Lord Brahma prays in 10:14:34, Tad bhuri bhagyam iha janma kim api atavyam yad gokulepi katamangri rajobhishekam. So Lord Brahma is aspiring to take birth. After the Brahma Vimon Leela, Lord Brahma offers prayers. So one of these verses is this, wherein Lord Brahma is praying that I want to be a blade of grass. I want to be basically an insignificant creature in Vraja, so that my whole body will be basically bathed with the Raja of Vrindavan or the dust of the lotus feet of Rajavasis, right? And what Uddhava prays, Asam aho charanereru jusham aham shyam Vrindavane ikamapi gulmalata latau shidinam. So Uddhava prays to become a gulmalata, right? And also you can that gulmalata can be seen in Nandagaon, just below Nandagaon. There is this place, right, Uddhava Kyari, where Uddhava has become Gulmalata and he wants to be bathed by the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis. After Uddhava met gopis in Vrindavan, right, he was so much touched by the mood of the gopis, the separation of the gopis, that he wanted to become, even though he was a great prince and he was 24 hours in association of Lord Krishna, but still Uddhava wanted to be a Gulmalatau Shadinam, that is a Gulmalata in Vrindavan. And that place is Uddhava Kyari, just below Nandagaon, right? So this is how great devotees have prayed, right? That to become a dust or to become a small creeper in Vrindavan. So this is the essence of all instruction in the matter of bhakti. So this completes text 8. We'll read the purport and then if there are any questions, we'll go to that. Yes. Somebody can continue. Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur.
Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur has commented as follows upon this verse: one who has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness should give up all material motives and train his mind by following the progressive regulative principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, qualities, pastimes, and so forth. In this way, after developing a taste for such things, one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and qualities under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. This is the sum and substance of all instruction regarding the cultivation of devotional service. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravanadasa, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Varanadasa. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smaranavastha, the stage of remembering. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna Smarana. At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals, but later remembrance proceeds uninterrupted. When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called Anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing Anusmriti, one enters the stage of Samadhi or spiritual trance. After Smaranadasa or Samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. This is called Sampati Dasa, the perfection of life.
Yes, somebody else can continue. Last paragraph.
Chaitanya
Krishna,
Charitamrita.
Chaitamrit advises that those who are neophytes to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in the regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the directions of Scripture. In this way, a neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, quality, and so forth. When one has developed such attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principle. This stage is called Raga Bhakti or devotional service in spontaneous love. At this stage, the devotee can follow the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. This is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti or spontaneous devotional service can be executed in the Santarasa when one aspires to be like Krishna's cow or stick or flute in the hand of Krishna or the flowers around the Krishna's neck. In the Dasya Rasa, one follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka, Patraka, and Raktaka. In the friendly Sakhyaras, one can become a friend like Baldev, Sridama, or Sudama. In the Vatsalya Ras, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And in Madhurya Rasa, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends such as Lalita and her serving mates Manjaris like Rupa and Rati. This is the essence of all instructions in the matter of devotional service.
Yeah. So if you see in the PPT now, there are certain things which are given extra for your understanding. For example, this Apanadasha and all. So when you are writing answers, you have to write answers according to the purport that is given in Nectar of Instruction. The PPT is for your understanding, better understanding, because certain things you may not understand just by reading the purport. Therefore, to better make you understand that PPT was designed, right? So, but when you're writing the answers, you can write, like as I told you, if it's 2 marks, you can write 4 lines, right? And if something you want to basically add, write according to the purport that is given here, right? Okay. So anybody has any questions, you can ask. Yes, bro. Sundar Bro.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
God bless.
Yeah, Prabhuji has raised
Prabhuji,
hand. Sundar Bro, he can ask question.
Prabhuji, in this Raganuga Bhakti stage, Prabhuji, that Siddha Deha of that matlab devotee is like revealed in the heart, Prabhuji, or like something, or it is revealed by matlab, at certain time or what?
Yeah, the spiritual master reveals, and it is revealed in the heart also, because anyway, spiritual master is what is that? The Paramatma sitting in the heart himself externally comes as a spiritual master, right? So spiritual master can reveal in the heart also. So sometimes if the devotee has become very much advanced, the spiritual master reveals, and if the spiritual master is not present on the earthly planet, then it is revealed by the Paramatma in the heart, by Krishna in the heart.
Yes, Prabhuji. One more question, Prabhuji. This in this verse, Prabhuji, that kalam naid akilam, Prabhuji. So, like, can you give some like practical like example, Prabhuji, for a grasta? Because a grasta has to engage in some like most of the time in many of the direct non-devotional activities, Prabhuji. So, like, how can he engage himself a 24-hour day? Like,
So basically, it is like this, that if you heard Radheshampur's lecture he tells that consider that there is in this material world we are fighting with Maya, correct? So Radheshyam gives example of that mongoose and snake example, right? So when the mongoose is fighting with the snake, then what mongoose does is he always fights with the snake near a herb that will cure it, right? So when the mongoose is fighting with the snake, actually the snake is very much stronger than mongoose because the snake has poison. So when the snake, what is that, hits the mongoose, the mongoose has poison. So what the mongoose does is it catches the snake in his tongue or in his mouth and drags it and goes near and near to a vanaspati. That is, so what happens is when the mongoose touches that vanaspati or eats that vanaspati, immediately that poison is neutralized, right? Again, it fights with the snake. So gradually, what happens is the mongoose fights the snake. It is bitten by the snake, goes back to the vanaspati, eats it, is cured by the poison, again comes and fights with the snake, right? So like that, what happens is the mongoose gradually drags the snake near the vanaspati. So it fights with the snake, immediately takes the vanaspati, cured the poison, again fights with the snake. So similarly, Radheshyam tells that while we are in the material world, we have to fight with Maya because Maya is there everywhere in the material world. So for that, what we have to do is we have to regularly, especially the morning time is very, very important for us sadhakas, because morning time is a mode of goodness, right? So in the mode of goodness, spiritual things will be relishable, right? In the mode of, we can see it also while you chant in the morning time, what happens is chanting is easier, spiritual life is easier, remembering is easier. Sometimes when I read in the daytime or when I read in the night time, many things do not enter our mind, right? But when I have practical experience, when we get up early in the morning, somewhere before Mangalarti, and half an hour if we read, whatever we are reading, we are able to understand everything very nicely. And the higher realms of that particular purport, what is there, we will be able to understand. That same thing, understanding becomes very difficult in the daytime or in the night time, right? So first thing is, whatever time, my spiritual, when I hear my spiritual master's lectures, some of the Grahas, devotees of Bombay, they used to ask Maharaj question, right? In the recordings, that Maharaj, we are Grahastas, how we can get up early in the morning. So Maharaj says that if you're not able to get up at 4 o'clock and come for Mangalarti at 4:30, please set a time, right? Consider that you sleep at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, then take 6 hours, 6.5 hours of rest, get up at 5:30, and immediately take bath and start chanting or reading, hearing, complete your rounds, right? Then at least do the Mangalarti, Narsimharti, Tulsi Aarti, and all these things, and hear, and then go to your office. So this is like your protection shield. In the previous class also I mentioned Chavan Prash, eating Chavan Prash, like it gives a protection. In the advertisement, there is a protection. As soon as somebody sneezes, that gives a protection to the boy. Similarly, this is a protection shield to us. So when we have done this very nicely, then throughout the day, we can be with the proper, Krishna tells, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha, right? We have to fight for Krishna, because ultimately why we are working or why we are taking up a job, basically to serve Krishna, so that whatever serve Krishna, take care of ourselves, take care of our family. So it is ultimately for whatever 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours job, whatever you're doing, it is for Krishna service. So that also comes in this Kalam Nayed Akhilam, that is 24 hours engagement, your job also comes. But how will you do it in proper consciousness? If you have done your morning program very nicely, if you have chanted your rounds, if you heard, if you have done Mangalarti, right? If you have done this, if you have prepared the consciousness nicely, then throughout the day you will be Krishna conscious. So that's how 24 hours you'll be able to engage in the Lord service. And even during office time, consider that somebody's job is not so hectic, right? Instead of reading newspapers and instead of reading unnecessary news of this world, what is going on around the world, what wars are going on, right? Better to, whenever we get time, better to read Lord Krishna's pastimes, better to read Prabhupada's purports, better to hear Guru Maharaj lectures. That's how our conscious means. We should be lobby, right? We should be greedy. Just like a businessman is always greedy, how I can earn more and more money, more and more money, more and more money. He's always, greedy about earning money. Similarly, a devotee should be always greedy for Shravanam Kirtanam, right? That is, whenever he gets time, he chants. Whenever he gets time, he reads. Whenever he gets time, even as brahmacharis, we may not sometimes get time because we may be engaged. There may be a lot of services. So how we manage our schedules, whenever we get time, we read, hear, and that's how whenever you get time, you read here and engage in the service of the Lord. That famous example of our spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, is there, where 24 hours actually he was serving the Lord, right? So he used to get up early in the morning at 2:30 and chant his rounds till 4:30, and 4:30, because he was a full-time pujari there in New Vrindavan. So from 4:30 till night, his only service was serving deities full time, 6 offerings, dressing, and milking the cows, preparing bhoga for the Lord, all the pujari services, cooking, cleaning the vessels, offering arti to the Lord, dressing the deities, everything was done by one single person, that is Guru Maharaj. So then when he used to read in between the offerings, right, he used to read. And even a night time also, he was told to perform kirtan. So then he wouldn't get sleep in between the offerings. Somehow used to sleep, somehow used to read. So similarly, in our life also, we may not get time for all these things, right? So somehow or other, we should develop this greed for reading, hearing, right? And that greed will come when we serve those who are this greed or those who are this attachment. So as I was telling, whenever Prabhupada disciples come to temple, or whenever great souls come to temple, we should come to temple and associate with them, try to serve them, because Lakshmi is one thing which we have, right? So we should try to engage that by asking them if they need something, or if some of our Lakshmi could be engaged in the service by giving them some gifts. So by that we'll get blessings, and that is how we can develop an attachment for reading, hearing, and that is how we can progress in devotional service. Is it okay, Prabhu? Anything else you want to ask on this?
No, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes. Next, Abhishek, Prabhu, you are asking.
Hey, like in PPT, Prabhuji, whatever you are showing now, Prabhuji, PPT, that's like spelling is like nice, Prabhuji. But whatever we downloaded that through our group now, Prabhuji, like we are like I am seeing some spelling mistake in that PPT, Prabhuji.
You have to install Balram font in your this thing. Then only that spellings will be proper. Balram font has to be installed.
Like how we need to install, Prabhuji?
You need
How
to
we
add it.
supposed to?
Google it. ChatGPT is there. Google it. You will come to know how to install.
Okay, Balram font.
You can write it down. Balram font. It will be if you check on Google, it will be available. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
If any problem is there, you have my number. You can either text, WhatsApp me, or you can call me. I'll let you know.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All these things, technical things, are available on ChatGPT on Google. You can easily come to know. If somebody has problems, you can call me. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Vijay Singh Pro, your raised hand. You can ask question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Pro.
Your
camera is off, Pro.
Internet connection is unstable, so you mentioned the two types of sadhana bhakti, Raganuga bhakti and Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So will Raganuga bhakti comes after you have performed Vaidhi bhakti, or both are separate types and can be practiced separately?
Can you repeat the question, Pro? There was some interruption. You can off your video if there is a problem. You can off your video and you can ask question. Yeah.
I said Raganuga bhakti or Vaidhi sadhana bhakti are two types of sadhana bhakti. Both types are independent or dependent on each other. Means
progressive. It is progressive. Progressive. Just like a ladder. First step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, sixth step, seventh step. So similarly, first comes Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. We follow the rules and regulations that our spiritual master has given. Get up early in the morning, chant, read, hear, serve the deity, serve the Lord, right? This we perform. This is called as Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. That is from Shraddha to Ruchi. This comes under Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So these are steps. So when we do this, then the next stage comes is we develop a deep attachment for hearing, reading, right? All these pastimes, whatever. Now presently we are doing it as a duty, right? It's not relishable. Just like medicine we are taking, we have jaundice disease. In the verse 7, it was told that we have a jaundice disease. We have a disease of avidya. So we are taking it as a medicine. We don't want to do this, right? Nobody wants to get up early in the morning, right? Nobody wants to chant the holy names, but we have taken a vow to chant the holy names. Therefore, we have to complete that vow, right? So we are taking it. It is a bitter medicine now presently, right? We are forced to do this. So when that stage will come, when our mind will want to do this, naturally, I want to chant, I want to read, I want to hear more, and it's not that when good times are there, I am attached to chanting, I'm attached to reading, I'm attached to hearing, and whenever things do not go my way, and when Lord does not fulfill my desires, I give up a chanting. This is not attachment. Attachment means whether good time or bad time, my attachment to chanting, reading, hearing continues, right? Because one understands that all these things are superficial. I am servant of Krishna, so I should be attached to hearing, chanting, reading about the Lord. So when that attachment comes, right, that is ruchi, and after that stage comes this stage of raga bhakti or raganuga bhakti. So it is very, very far as of now, but we should understand that that is a stage, right, that we need to attain. So this is a progressive stage. Progressive stage. We are in a lower stage now. We have to progress ahead, and that can happen by the mercy of a spiritual master. Nothing, whatever you're speaking is nothing dependent on our efforts, right? We have to put our efforts to develop taste for reading, hearing, chanting, but our efforts are insufficient, right? It can happen only by mercy. So should we not put efforts then? Because anyway, nothing is dependent on my efforts. Why I am putting efforts is to please my Guru, please Krishna, so that by their mercy, I will develop a taste for reading, hearing, chanting, and then I'll be able to progress in the further stages. Is this clear, Prabhu? Vijay Singh,
Thank
Prabhu,
you,
is it
Prabhu.
clear?
Yeah, clear, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Rashid, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Uddhav was the friend of Krishna, but why he wants to be a creeper in spiritual world?
Because creeper in Golok Vrindavan, na?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Because that stage is a higher stage. When he saw the love of the gopis, he was basically stunned that how come somebody can have so much love for Krishna. I don't have that so much love. Even though Uddhav he was a friend of Krishna, he has very high devotion for Krishna, but by seeing the love of the gopis, he was so much stunned and so much in ecstasy that how can a person have so much love for Krishna, and they are not even staying near to Krishna. Krishna is staying in Dwarka. So how come these gopis who are simple covered girls, how can they have so much love for Krishna, so much attachment for Krishna? And he wanted to develop that attachment, that much love for Krishna. Therefore, he wanted to be grass, Gulmalata in Vrindavan, so that he could get their dust and he could also develop so much attachment. Uddhava felt that he did not have that so much attachment for the Lord. And that is obviously true because Madhurya Ras is above Sakya Ras.
Then Prabhuji, he should be aspire for a gopi, na? Why he is creeper? He want to be
Because our path is servant of servant of servant of servant. Dasa dasanu dasa. We don't want to be a gopi, but we want to be a servant of a gopi, right? Because that is a safer position than being a gopi. We just want to try to be a servant of the devotees of the Lord than to be a devotee of the Lord. Because that is much easier and much better position to be than to be directly associate of the Lord. That's why.
Prabhuji, sorry for questioning again, but gopis are there. They are living beings. In spiritual world, they are creeper. Then how can be servant of the servant?
Because if you are gopi, then gopis will not give the dust to you, no? Consider that you become a gopi, you want the dust of the lotus feet. They will not give because they will feel that how can I give dust to my own friend? But if you become a creeper, then you can easily get the dust of the lotus feet of the gopi. Therefore, Uddhava wants their mercy. Uddhava wants the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis. And how can you get the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis? By becoming humble. So he wants to take a very humble position of being a creeper of Vrindavan. And anyway, what is that? Vrindavan, everything is chid, that is everything is conscious. So gopi is also serving Krishna, a creeper in Vrindavan is also serving Krishna, tree is also serving Krishna, everything is very, very conscious there, right? Sachidananda. So therefore why Uddhava wanted to be a creeper? Basically because he wanted the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis. And if he takes that humble position, because if Uddhava remains as he is, right, then why will the gopis, consider that you are a king's friend, right? And you go to a village and ask the village girls that please give me the dust of your lotus feet. Village girls will be ashamed that how can we give the dust of a lotus feet to a king's friend? So therefore, Uddhava, understanding that gopis will not give me the dust of their feet, Therefore, he wanted to be a Gulmalata so that 24 hours he will be bathed in the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis. And by that, he will attract the mercy of Krishna, and Krishna will give that attachment to him that the gopis have. So basically, he wanted to please Krishna by becoming a creeper in Vrindavan. Yes, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to ask you, here is one word, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur wrote that one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly, right? So I just want to ask, is it in a gross way or both, in both ways, subtle and gross?
Yes. So this basically verse, very important question. This verse is basically for Raganuga Bhaktas, right? This verse is meant for us also, but it is meant that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur clearly explains. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has also commented on this verse. Whatever we are quoting in the PPTs or Prabhupada's writing is, there is a commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, wherein they clearly mention that neophyte devotees should mentally try to reside in Govardhan or mentally try to reside in Radhakund. You can see in this 8, 9, 10, 11, the speciality of Vrindavan Dham, speciality of Radhakund, speciality of Govardhan is mentioned, wherein they tell that is the best place to perform a bhajan. But a person who is a neophyte, right, will not be able to understand because we have external consciousness. We are Prakrita Bhaktas, we are neophytes, Kanishtadikaris. So since we have superficial consciousness, our eyes are not tainted with love. Our eyes are tainted with lust, greed, anger. So this, we have a spectacle above our eyes, right? That spectacle is colored glass. That is of Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, right? So because this spectacle is colored yellow, so everything I see around yellow. So because my eyes are tainted not with love, but with Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, the 6 anarthas. So everything around what I'll see is Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, anarthas only, right? Even though the land of Vrindavan is filled with love, and everybody there is a very exalted person, Brajavasi, Vaikuntavasi. But if I think of residing, or if I go and reside there even for one day, I'll see that there is only sewage, there is gutter, there are monkeys which are trained to steal and grab money from us. So this is what I will see when I go to Vrindavan. This is what I will see if I reside in Braja, and I will commit offense. And that will be the cause of my fall down. And I will give up the process of bhakti and come back and again become a materialist. Right? So therefore, Braja or Vrindavan is for those who already developed prema, and if they reside, they will not commit any offense. But neophytes like us, if we try to take this verse, if we take to what is that? Take to the gross meaning of this verse and go and reside in Braja, then we will commit offense and we will fall down. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and even Prabhupada told that we should go to Vrindavan only in the association of devotees, not alone. Because if we don't go in the association of sadhus, we will commit offense, right? Therefore, if we go to Vrindavan, we should go in the association of spiritual master. If not, in the association of devotees, and then go there, go take darshan, hear Krishna Katha, and quickly come back, not reside there for 1 month, 2 months. We may commit offense, and that may be very, very detrimental to our path of bhakti. Right? This is not recommended by our acharyas. So, because we have to follow in the footsteps of acharyas, that is what we have heard Sato Vritte in verse 1 or verse 2, that we have to follow in the footsteps of acharyas. Therefore, residing in Vrindavan, residing in holy dhams should be for a very short time, than that too in the association of devotees only. Otherwise, we may commit offense, and many people have committed offense and have almost become mad in devotional service. They have given up the path of bhakti, right? So neither they are earning money, neither they are performing bhakti. They have become like mad people. Therefore, residing in Braja, we can reside in Braja in the mental platform also, right? That is, we can remember Golok Vrindavan, we can remember Govardhan Dham, we can remember Radhakund, we can every day do parikrama of Govardhan in the mind. Mentally, we can do that, right? So this verse we have to follow mentally and mentally reside in Vrindavan, right? Once we are advanced and once we get the permission of a spiritual master, right, with the permission of spiritual master, then we can reside in Vrindavan. Is this okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yes. Any other questions? If we do not have any questions, then we'll go to the next verse, that is text 9. So we have heard now the... Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, Mayapur is also counted or only Vrindavan?
Any dham.
Oh.
If we at all want to stay in a dham, we should take the permission of our spiritual master. And if our spiritual master allows, then we can reside. Because spiritual master knows our qualifications, disqualifications, he knows our level. So anything we want to do in spiritual life, right? Anything differently we want to do or anything extra we want to do, always to check with the spiritual master. If spiritual master is not available, from those who are taking guidance, we should seek guidance from them, and we can do whatever under their guidance. Hope this is clear. So we'll continue. Actually, if you see this Prem Bhakti Chandrika also, where Narottam, this is available in this Bhakti, what is that, Veda base, Prem Bhakti Chandrika by Narottam Das Thakur. He condemns going to holy places, right? Unnecessarily going to holy places just for sightseeing is condemned by Narottam Das Thakur, because what we will be able to see the holy dham with these fleshy eyes, which is just tainted with Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsara, right? So therefore, the mood of Prabhupada, the mood of our acharyas is that if you see, Prabhupada was staying in Vrindavan, right, in Radha Damodar temple, right? So what was the need for Prabhupada to go to West? It was like hell if you compare it to Vrindavan, and Prabhupada is on Raganagar platform. Prabhupada is Acharya, Shuddha Bhakta, personally sent by Krishna, right? So what was the need for Prabhupada staying in Vrindavan? What was the need for Prabhupada to go leave Radha Damodar temple, which is considered to be the center of the spiritual world, where all the Goswamis used to come, sit there, discuss Krishna Katha, and think of expanding the Krishna conscious movement 500 years ago. So that was the center of the spiritual world. So Prabhupada is staying in the spiritual world, center of the spiritual world. What is the need for Prabhupada to go to West? Because Prabhupada gave priority to the instruction of his spiritual master. He knew that bhakti means pleasing the spiritual master. So therefore, Prabhupada went to the West to give us all bhakti, right? So now, if we leave our own service here, right, in our own temples, and we go and reside in Braja, go and reside in Mayapur, then we should ask ourselves one question, that will this please Prabhupada, right? Will Prabhupada be pleased by this particular act that I'm doing? And if I do it, if I do not do it under guidance, Prabhupada will surely not be pleased. And you're going to Vrindavan may not help you in advancing Krishna consciousness, but may cause a fall down in your bhakti. That's why we have to remember this, that we have got Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Prabhupada, and our only goal of life in this life should be to please Prabhupada and please our spiritual master. That is how we'll go back to Godhead. Not by listening to our mind or listening to some people who don't know what is bhakti, right? So therefore, we have not got bhakti by the mercy of some Baba in Vrindavan. We have not got spiritual life by mercy of some other person. We have got bhakti by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his followers. Therefore, the only goal of our life should be to please them, right? So many people may speak many things, that this is what is the goal of life, this is what is the goal of life, this is what is the goal of life, but we have not received bhakti from them. We have received bhakti in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of their acharyas. They have taken great risks to give us bhakti, right? Therefore, we have to read the life of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, the life of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, life of Srila Prabhupada, and the life of our current acharyas, spiritual masters. How much sacrifice they have done. And now, if we want to go and reside in Vrindavan and just do our bhajan, right? So what about their sacrifice? Are we not supposed to also do some sacrifice to assist them in the preaching mission, right? If we don't have that gratitude to assist them in the preaching movement, then how will we get bhakti? How will we please Krishna, right? Therefore, our only goal of life should be to please Prabhupada, to please our spiritual master, because by their mercy only we have got devotional service, right? Otherwise, what hope we had, right? At least myself, I never knew about Vrindavan, maybe something about Krishna, but I did not know the full glories of Krishna and did not know the full glories of Vrindavan, right? I was not taught about bhakti by some Baba of Vrindavan, right? I was taught about bhakti by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the devotees of ISKCON. Therefore, Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj tells that never leave ISKCON, right? Whatever difficulties you may face in ISKCON, but through what organization you have got bhakti, the organization of ISKCON, right? So stick to this path, stick to this movement, and surely you will attain what is that? Perfection and devotional service. That faith we should have, right? Yes. Therefore, reading Prabhupada books, please read. If you have not started reading Leelamrit, Prabhupada's Leelamrit, please read it, because we need to understand what sacrifice Prabhupada has gone through to establish this particular movement, right? It was not a very easy path for Prabhupada to start this movement. He has gone through great sacrifice, right? So therefore, we have to read the life of our acharyas and see how much great struggles they have gone through to establish this movement, right? And we have got this bhakti. Now, how can I have got bhakti now. I'll just go to Vrindavan and chant my rounds and I can be happy. I also have to sacrifice a little bit. Bhakti is not so easy, right? So bhakti can be got with the mercy of acharyas, with the mercy of Krishna. So that can happen when we sacrifice for the pleasure, right? So we'll continue in the next verse. Text 9. So text 9 basically speaks about the hierarchy of the material and spiritual worlds, right? In the text 8, we saw what is the nectar of, or what is the essence of all instructions. In text 9, we will be seeing the hierarchy and how Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada basically mentions how Radha Kund is the topmost place in the entire material creation, right? Because in text 8, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada told that the best place to perform bhajan is Vrindavan. And that too in Vrindavan, what is the best place to perform bhajan? That is what Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada will be explaining in text 9, right? So text 9 to 11, text 8 discussed about Asakti, right? In text 9 to 11, we will be discussing about Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, 9, 10 and 11. So text 9 gives us the hierarchy of the material and spiritual worlds, describes the hierarchy of the different regions of Lord's creation with Radha Kund as the topmost place. The previous verse instructed us to perform bhajan while residing in Braja. This verse very clearly answers precisely where one should reside within Braja. So what is the topmost holy place? That is what is described by text 9. Now this is the purport. We'll just go to the translation or the verse. Then we'll go back to the... So because the verse is very big, I'll just read it and explain it, right? Then we'll go to this thing. So the verse is like this. Vaikunta janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat vrindaranyam udarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhanaha radhakundam ihapi gokulapate premamruta plavanat kuryat asya virajato giritate sevam vivekinaka. Right? So this verse basically gradually goes from Vaikunta to Radhakunda. So the topmost place, or Vaikunta is the spiritual. Vaikunta janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat. So what this particular line tells about is Vaikunta is a spiritual world, right? Vaikunta is a spiritual world, or the first planet in the spiritual world, right? So tatrapi, Madhupuri is tatrapi. Madhupuri is higher than Vaikunta, right? Madhupuri means Mathura. Mathura is tatrapi. Mathura is Vara. Mathura is a better place than Vaikunta. Why? Because Janito, because Lord Krishna himself had taken birth in Mathura, right? But Mathura is not the topmost. Tatrapi, there is a better place, or there is a more better place than Mathura. What is that? Tatrapi, a higher place than Mathura is Vrindaranyam, the forest known as Vrindavan, right? Why it is a better place than Mathura, or why it is a higher place than Mathura? Because Ratsotsavad. Because in Vrindavan, Lord Krishna performed this Rasa Leela pastimes. In Vrindavan, in Mathura, Krishna has not performed Rasa Leela pastimes. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna has performed Rasa Leela pastimes. So because of Ratsotsavad, it is Tatrapi. Vrindavan is Tatrapi than Madhupuri, Mathura, higher than Mathura, right? Then Tatrapi Govardhanaha, right? Higher than Vrindavan is what? Higher than Vrindavan is Govardhanaha. Tatrapi Govardhanaha. So Govardhan is higher than Vrindavan. Why? Because of these two reasons. Udarapani and Ramanath. Udarapani means Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill with his own hands, right? Krishna lifted with his own loving hands, Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill, right? To basically protect it from the rain and wind of that was being given by Indradev, right? So because why Govardhan is better than Vrindaranyam? Because Krishna lifted it with his own loving hands, and Ramanath, because the place Govardhan is basically the place where Lord Krishna and all the gopis performed their many wonderful pastimes. Lord Krishna with his Gopa friends also performed, along with the cows, performed many wonderful pastimes. Therefore, because of these two reasons, Udarapani and Ramanath, because Lord Krishna lifted it Govardhan with his own hands and performed many wonderful pastimes, therefore, Govardhan is a better place than Vrindavan, right? And Radha Kundam Ihapi, but better than Govardhan is Radha Kundam. Why? Because Gokulapate Premamrut Plavanath, right? Because Krishna's the Gokulapate is Krishna. So Krishna's divine love is overflooding. Premamruta, the nectar of love of Krishna is Aplavanath, is overflooding in Radhakunda because of his love for Srimati Radharani, right? So therefore, because the love of Krishna is overflooding in Radhakundam, therefore Radhakunda is the topmost place in the entire material, in the entire creation, in the spiritual and the material realms. Radhakund is the best place because Krishna's the nectarian love of Krishna is overflooding in Radhakund. Therefore, Kuryad Asya Virajato Giritate Sevam Vivekina. So, which intelligent person will not reside, Virajato, will not reside at the foothills of Govardhana, Giritate, in Radhakund, where he will constantly serve the divine couple of Radha and Krishna, right? So this is the verse. I'll just read the translation. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually sorry, I should have shared before. Yes, the holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Raslila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radhakund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectar, prem of the Lord of Gokula Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill? Right? So this is the verse. So Prabhupada explains in the purport. So material world is basically 1/4 and spiritual world is 3/4. So Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha because it is the birthplace. The Vrindavana forest is superior to Mathura because of its last Lila pastimes. Govardhan Hill is superior to the forest of Vrindavan because it is raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And Radhakund is even superior to Govardhan Hill because it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prem of Lord of Gokula. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radhakund which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill, right? So we'll just read the purport that will complete this verse 9. Yes, somebody who has not read can just read this purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
The spiritual world is 3/4 of total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in this material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself appeared at Mathura. The interior forest of Vrindavana are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of 12 forests, Dwadashavana, such as Talvan, Madhuvan, and the Bahulavan, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavana forest is considered superior to Mathura, but superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan Hill, because the Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill like an umbrella, raising it with like lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Praja, from the torrential rain sent by the angry Indra, king of the demigods. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends. And then also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radha Kund at the foot of the Govardhana is superior to all because it is there that the love of Krishna overflows. Advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radha Kund because this place is at the site of many memories of eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani, Rati Vilasa. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the area of Vrajabhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radha Kunda. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of Radha Kunda. Finally, he found the holy spot, and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radha Kund was situated here. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya's devotees, headed by the six Goswamis such as Rupa and Raghunath Das. Presently, there is a large lake known as Radha Kunda there. Srila Rupa Goswami has given much stress to Radha Kund because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radha Kund and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. The importance of Radha Kund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas. Nor can persons uninterested in devotional service of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radha Kund. Thus, Radha Kund is mainly worshipped by Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes. So, because Prabhupada is saying that the importance of Radha Kund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can person uninterested in devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand. Therefore, we need not try to explain the glories of Radha Kund to other Sampradayas because they will not be able to understand it, right? So, therefore, those who are in the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only will be able to understand the divine nature of Radha Kund. Now, somebody may question that Srila Rupa Goswami himself is telling that Radha Kund is the best place to perform bhajan. Which will be that intelligent person who will not want to reside in Radha Kund and serve the lotus feet of Radha Kund. But we have to understand that this verse, that is verse number 8, 9, 10, 11, is for whom? For those who are on the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, right? So first we should try to follow verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, verse 5, verse 6, verse 7. And when we have developed a deep attachment for the chanting of the holy names, for hearing Krishna Katha, for chanting of Krishna Katha, for serving the devotees, then we can think of verse 8, verse 9, verse 10, and verse 11. So till that time, for us, we have to perform Vaidhi sadhana bhakti throughout our life, and by the mercy of our spiritual master, we will be able to get this divine. Spiritual master will surely, if we are properly trained and if we have pleased him thoroughly, then spiritual master will reveal that spiritual form to us that we have in Golok Vrindavan, right? So therefore, although Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has mentioned, but we have to also see what our acharyas are telling about this particular verse, what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is telling, right? And Srila Prabhupada is telling, and what our spiritual master is telling, that we have to reside, no doubt we have to reside in Radha Kund, but we can mentally serve the Radha Kund because mental service also will surely please Radha Kund, or will surely please Radha and Krishna. So, while we are doing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, we can also mentally remember Radha Kund. We can every day perform what is that? Govardhan Parikrama. Every day perform Parikrama of Vrindavan Dham, right? And like that, we can reside in Radha Kund, right? So, any questions here or still 20 minutes are remaining? We can complete verse 10 if you want. Yes, Prabhuji, Vijay Singh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is Dwarka and Ayodhya placed in Vaikuntha Loka?
Yeah, basically, there is the different planets of spiritual world are there, Proji. So these are all in. There is from the body of Krishna, the spiritual effulgence is being spreaded, right? That is called as Brahman. So in this spiritual world or in the Brahman effulgence, all these Vaikuntha planets are there, right? So one of those planets is Ayodhya Dham, and one of those planets is also Dwarka Dham. But there is a hierarchy of these Dhama, right? So first comes is Vaikuntha planet where Dasya Ras is prominent, and then comes Ayodhya, where Dasyaras is there, where Sakyaras is there, right? Sakyaras of Sugriva with Lord Ram, Guha with Lord Ram, right? And where Dasyaras is also there, Sakyaras is there, and Madhurya Ras is basically Aishwarya Madhurya, right? That still the Madhurya is there, but in the mode of service, right? So Ayodhya comes, above that comes Dwarka, right? Where you can see Dasyaras, you can see Madhurya Ras, you can see Sakya Ras, but still above that is Golok Vrindavan. Above that comes Mathura, and above that comes Golok Vrindavan, right? So this is how the spiritual planets are there, but in that spiritual planets also there is hierarchy, right? At the lowermost level comes Vaikunta, above that comes Ayodhya Dham, above that comes Dwarka, above that comes Mathura, and above Mathura comes or Dwarka and Mathura are almost on the same level, and above that comes this thing, Golok Vrindavan. Yes. Is this clear, Prabhu?
Is Uddhavji from Dwarka?
Yeah, Uddhavji is from Mathura and Dwarka. Uddhavji was there, Krishna was there in Mathura first. After he left Vrindavan, Krishna went to Mathura. So Uddhava was there with Krishna in Mathura also. And when Krishna and all his associates shifted from Mathura to Dwarka, Uddhava went there also. So Uddhava is there in Mathura and Uddhava is there in Dwarka also.
So this Sakyaras is from awe and reverence, not
Yes,
like
awe and reverence. Yes, awe and reverence. Aishwarya Bhav is there.
Thank you.
Purushottam Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I had a doubt in text 3, but I forgot to ask at that time. So they were telling that Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were converted into Mohammedans. Was it under compulsion or due to the association of non-devotees?
So at that time, because what is that? The Nawab Hussain Shah of West Bengal at that time, he understood that these two people are very, very intelligent people, right? Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, or what is that? Santosh. They had their names. I'm not remembering, right? So one was Santosh, and another I don't remember. Santosh, Sanatan Goswami was Santosh, and Rup Goswami's name I'm not remembering.
Amar Prabhuji.
Malik, I think.
Huh?
Amar Santosh.
Amar and Santosh, yeah, Amar and Santosh. So they were very intelligent people. They were Brahmanas. So therefore, Nawab Hussain Shah wanted them to be in their kingdom, right? But now, obviously, because they are Brahmanas, they will not easily accept the position of his prime minister and finance minister. So what he told them that if you don't become, if you don't want to assist me in this particular my spreading of this my regime, then I will what is that? I will kill the Brahmanas and I will trouble them. So therefore, under pressure, just to protect the Brahmanas and to protect the Brahmana community and protect the Hindus, they had to become Mohammedans. That was under compulsion. They had to do that.
Got it, Prabhu. Prabhu, and I had another doubt, but this related to Yamadharma Raja. So, Katwanga Maharaja, when he went to the the place where hell. So he got options whether he can enjoy the pious activity first or sinful activity first. So he was given an option to opt which one he wants to. So first he chose the pious activity, I think he chose the hellish activity and he offered the flowers directly to the Lord so that he went from there to Vaikuntha. So will we be given options like that to another Atmas, or is it for the higher level devotees, or how is it connected to us?
Maybe you may have to go to Yamadharma Raja and you will come to know whether you'll be given opportunity or not. From here to predict it will be difficult. Basically, that story is told that like even if you perform little service, right, that will be accounted and you will get great benefit for that, right? That is what we can understand from that particular. Whether and there are what is that? Because we are devotees of Krishna, surely we will be. It is told that whenever we perform any good activities, Krishna opens his big eyes like Jagannath, and whenever we perform any bad activities or activities that are against devotional service, Krishna immediately closes his eyes. So Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana, right? So even if you perform, even if you are not 100% perfect, Krishna will surely give us another opportunity. Second chance was given to Ajamila, so second chance will be given to us also. Okay?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sundar Prabhu.
Prabhuji, is this Raganuga Bhakti, Prabhuji, is it awarded in the course of doing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti by the mercy of Krishna and spiritual master, Prabhuji, or a separate endeavor is required to enter into Raganuga Bhakti? And is it compulsory, Prabhuji, to enter Raganuga Bhakti at a certain point in devotional life?
Yeah, it is both. It is both. It is awarded by the mercy also, and we have to cultivate it also. It is there. And yes, if we want to enter Golok Vrindavan, right, this Raganuga Bhakti should be cultivated, right? But presently, for us at the present stage, right, better it is safer, right? Because in my whatever journey, small journey in Krishna consciousness, in whatever I heard in Bhagavatam classes or heard from great souls, not much stress is given on this particular thing, that is cultivating mood of Brajavasis, mood of Raganuga Bhakti, right? So if it was so important, then surely we would have heard about that, right? If it was really so important that we have to cultivate Raganuga Bhakti separately. So presently, in whatever stage we are, what we have to do is we should develop a deep taste for hearing, chanting, associating with devotees, coming regularly to temples, attending Mangalarati, whatever Prabhupada has given, the instructions, the morning program, right? So if we strictly follow that, then since Krishna is there in the heart, Krishna is standing in the form of Radha Vrindavan Chandra in the deity form in the temple, surely whatever is required, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that if one constantly engages in my service, then whatever is required for me to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will surely give that, right? So if it is really required for me to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will show the path, right? He will show give us the association of such type of devotees, and surely if that is required, then Krishna will give it. That is for sure. So what presently we have to do is we have to strictly follow to the path that Srila Prabhupada has given us, right? That is what is very necessary. If we are not able to do that, what to speak about Raganuga Bhakti? So first, basics, A, B, C, D, right? Try to get up as early as possible in the morning. Try to chant intensely your rounds, taking shelter of the holy name. Try to read Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has given us his books, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Try to read that, right? Try to associate with devotees. Try to whatever Lakshmi we earn, engage it in the service of the Lord, and also try to assist Srila Prabhupada or assist the devotees who are trying to preach this mission. Try to assist. If we do this properly, our basics properly, A, B, C, D, then whatever I require to be advanced in devotional service, Krishna will surely reveal that part to us. That is for sure, because Krishna is there. Krishna is sitting in our heart. So according to advancement, Krishna will surely reveal the path, right? So this is what is my understanding about this particular question.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mataji, Prachi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So if a person has taken birth in Vrindavan Dham, but he is not a devotee and committing lot of sins, so what kind of offenses they inculcate? Or like getting birth in Vrindavan Dham is the greatest fortune, but since he is a non-devotee, then what offenses he inculcate, Prabhu?
Since he has taken his birth in Vrindavan, he is not a non-devotee. We may be non-devotees because we are just cultivating bhakti in this life. But because he is a Brajavasi, he has taken his birth, right? So he is not a non-devotee, because Krishna himself tells that those who are taken birth in Vrindavan are very, very dear to me, right? So we should respect those people, even though they may be performing whatever activities that we have mentioned, right? So we will not be able to understand. That's why residing in Vrindavan is a very, very great what is that danger for us, because our eyes are tainted with kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsara. Therefore, we will not be able to understand. You have heard this verse now, Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhujai. We will not be able to understand the activities of Vaishnava, right? So Brajavasis, to understand Brajavasis is very, very difficult. We will not be able to understand that. Therefore, what we have to do is, from distance, just respect them and don't worry about them, right? Because we are not Brajavasis. What is our level? So accordingly, we can practice, and we can faithfully practice whatever Prabhupada has given. And what about Brajavasis, right? That is there between Krishna and them, because they are very, very dear to Krishna. How Krishna will how Krishna can bring a change in their life, change the events, turn events in their life, that we do not know. But because they are born in Vrindavan and because they are very, very dear to Krishna, these superficial things might be there, right? That is there, but we should, from a distance, respect them. Will not be because will not be able to understand what they have done in their previous lives, because of which, even though they are born in Vrindavan, still bad things are there in their life, right? So it is very difficult to understand all these things. Therefore, from a distance, respect the Brajavasis and just don't worry about them, because that is not under our purview. It is not under our influence. Better respect them from a distance and just worry about our own spiritual life and try to advance Krishna consciousness. Is this okay, Mataji? Understanding all this, because Krishna tells that kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopi atra mohitaha. Even intelligent people are bewildered about what is karma and what is akarma. This intricacies of karma, what one has done in the past life, because of which he's reacting like this in this life, is very, very difficult to understand, right? But one thing is that because they are born in Vrindavan, just don't associate with them, because if you associate, you will fall down. You will also get their qualities. If they are breaking regulatory principles, if they are drinking, smoking, right? So if you associate with them, then you will also start following, right? So therefore, better from a distance, respect them, understand that it is between them and Krishna, because they are very dear to Krishna, and leave it. And there is no point in understanding more things about this. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Any other question, Abhishek? Prabhu?
You explained about spiritual planets now, like first comes Ayodhya and
Vaikunta.
after Ayodhya.
Vaikunta first.
First comes Vaikunta, after comes this Ayodhya, and after Dwarka, and after Dwarka Mathura. And what is the place of this Mayapur Navadvip, Prabhuji, in spiritual planet?
So it is Navdeep Mandal Parikrama. This Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur has Navdeep Mahatma. This book is there. So there it is mentioned that once Radha Rani wanted to build a very secluded forest, or very pleasurable a secluded forest in Golok Vrindavan for the pleasurable pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So Srimati Radharani, with her own hands, has developed this Navdeep Dham. So Navdeep Dham is a part of Golok Vrindavan. For more details, you can refer to Navdeep Dham Mahatmya, which has been translated by His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. But Navdeep is a part of Golok Vrindavan. Basically designed by the own hands of Srimati Radharani for the pleasure pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Is this okay, Abhishek Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
For more details, Navdeep Dham Mahatmya by His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj, which was originally written by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Very nice book.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Nandan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, regarding that question you mentioned about when someone commit offense in holy places like Vrindavan and all. So I remember when I went in my third year with one of my senior devotee. So I saw a devotee, like he was in proper dhoti kurta, kanti mala, and everything, like proper tilak and all. And that devotee was smoking cigarette. So that time immediately I asked my uh, mentor. So he really chastised me and told me not to, like whatever you are telling these things, not to judge or do anything to those devotee. But really, when we see such gross activities, like which we know it's like not like it's a very bad activity, or kind of not one should not do. But like some behavior is there, so that we understand okay, this devotee is behaving like this, so then that might be their nature. But if we see something very gross like this in dham and all, so how to react on those things, or how to tell ourselves that this is not something we should judge, or so can you just tell me this?
Yeah. Consider he's a ISKCON devotee. Obviously, he may not be a ISKCON devotee, because in Vrindavan you will find many people who are in dhoti kurta with tilak and kantimala. And nowadays, even ISKCON devotees, you can see that many people come in the form of working people, and they become somehow devotees, start chanting, they wear kantimala, they wear tilak, they wear dhoti kurta. So one thing is, we can understand that he might not have got training, right? Therefore, Prabhupada tells there are two things. One is religion and philosophy. Prabhupada tells that what is that? Religion and philosophy, philosophical understanding, both are required. That is, one is rituals and philosophical understanding, right? If one of the two is missing, if one of the two are one of them is missing, then it will not be proper behavior, right? So we may understand that he's practicing, right? He may be externally behaving, he may be having external attire of a devotee, but internally he has not got training, he has not got philosophical understanding that he has to follow four regulative principles, right? So therefore, who was that person is very important. If he is just a what is that, Brajavasi, who by birth is wearing dhoti kurta, by wearing kantimala, tilak is there, right? And he may not know all this scientific understanding that we have got, that we need to follow four regulatory principles. We should not eat onion, garlic, we should not eat non-veg and all these things, right? That philosophical understanding is not there with him. So therefore, because that philosophical understanding is not there, therefore he might not be following those principles, right? So it is not his fault, right? Whoever has brought him into bhakti might not have given him that proper spiritual understanding. So what we have to understand from this is that if we also don't regularly read, hear, chant properly, then we may also fall prey to all these activities, right? So we may be now devotees because of our past sukruti, but on the past sukruti, if we do not capitalize on that and read here regularly, and if we do not do, then we may also fall down into Maya. Therefore, that is a future for a devotee. A devotee can see his future if he does not follow whatever Prabhupada has given in his purports, if we do not read here. That is what Prabhupada does now. If you do not read my purports and if you just eat and sleep, then you will just fall down, right? So therefore, that is a red signal for us that I can also become like him if I do not follow the principles that Prabhupada has shared with us. Therefore, if we see such people in Dham, we have to understand that he has not got a philosophical understanding. He might not have got proper training. Even in ISKCON, there are some ISKCON temples where you get very nice training. Like, for example, we are very fortunate from the beginning of our life by the Radhesham Prabhu's mercy, we have got very nice training. Therefore, we know what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do. But in many temples, what happens? People just come and they start serving throughout the day. Are serving. They don't have time for attending Mangalarti. They don't have time for reading Prabhupada purport. They don't have time for chanting. They don't chant 16 rounds. They're initiated. They don't chant 16 rounds. They don't read Prabhupada purports. They don't get up early in the morning. They just serve. At some point of time, they become burnt out, give up the path of bhakti and go out, right? So therefore, it is we have to understand that that person might not have got the training or that not got the philosophical understanding, and because of which he might be like that, right? So therefore, if he is in Dham, he is a Brajavasi, better to respect him from a distance. And what we can do, because if he is a Brajavasi, he will think that I'm a inferior person. If I go to tell him something that why you are smoking cigarette and why, he will not listen to us, right? So it is not under a influence. There is something called a circle of influence and circle of influence. There are two circles: circle of influence and circle of concern. So this comes under circle of concern. I have a concern that he should not behave like that, but it is not under my influence. So for me, I have to understand that is a red signal. If I don't follow the principles properly, I may also one day become like that. Therefore, taking that as a red signal for me, I should follow the principles very nicely so that I can advance and go back to order. Is this clear, Pro?
Yeah. So just one thing, like, is it true that I've heard somewhere that if some Indian Brajavasi or anyone who is born in Vrindavan, and if they break four relative principles, so they become monkeys in next life in the same dham?
Yes. This Prabhupada tells about those people who have lived in Vrindavan, specifically Brajavasis. Prabhupada, this is mentioned in this thing. What is that? Bharat Maharaj section, where Bharat Maharaj had to, even though he was on the platform of Bhava, he fell down to become a deer, right? So in that purport, Prabhupada specifically mentions that devotees go to Vrindavan and they do not follow the relative principles. If they break their relative principles, then they have to become monkeys in the next life. And after that, they will they will go back to Godhead. So I can read those purports again. Maybe I'll guide back to you whether Prabhupada is mentioning the word of Brajavas is there in that particular this thing. Okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Purushottam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you told if you have time, you will tell about Bhaktivedanta Saraswati our meeting Yamaraj story. So
No, now today it's not.
Okay.
Already it's 1 o'clock. Maybe next
Okay.
class. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanat Pranam.
Yes.
My question is, like you said, we should not judge the Brajvasis and their activities, but if they are causing some harm to us, then what should we do? Once I was doing Govardhan Parikrama and one boy, he tried to steal my phone. So what should we do? We naturally get very angry that he's stealing my phone or something. So what should we do in this case when they're doing harm to us? Should we get angry or should we let it happen?
Yeah, whatever is required to protect ourselves. And actually, when Prabhupada disciples, Westerners, went to Vrindavan, so at that time, they obviously Vrindavan is autowalas and all Brajvasis, so they obviously want to earn money, and they wanted to charge more from the and foreigners, right? Foreigners, they wanted to charge. They knew that they have money. They wanted to charge them more. So then there was a fight between the Prabhupada disciples, foreigners, and the Brajavasis. So when the news went to Prabhupada was not pleased. Right? Prabhupada told that you should have some common understanding how to deal with these people, right? And you have to, if they are cheating you, then you have to have common sense how to not get cheated, but at the same time, how to not offend them. So this is what Prabhupada told to his disciples. So when such things are there, that Brajvasis, children and all, that might happen. But we have to understand that because we are in Dham, or especially in Govardhan Dham, right? Or you're doing Govardhan Parikrama or Vrindavan, we have to understand that this place is not in the material world. So whatever happens here happens under the desire of Krishna. So if something is happening to us, consider that we are being pricked by a thorn, or our spectacles are being stolen by monkeys. So external influence is that the monkeys are being trained and they're taking our spectacles, right? But we have to understand that this is happening by the sweet desire of Krishna, and therefore it is to purify me. So whatever happens in Vrindavan is for my spiritual advancement. So I have to take, first thing is, I should understand that it is for my spiritual advancement. It is happening by the desire of Krishna. So internally I should be happy, right? If you have to go to Vrindavan, if you have to go to Vrindavan, this should be the mood, that whatever happens there happens with the sweet desire of Krishna, and anything happens to me, it may be good, it may be bad, it is all for my spiritual advancement, and I should be happy with that. First thing is that. Second thing is, now having this mood, now whatever needs to be done in a very non-offending way, whatever needs to be done can be done to get that mobile, or whatever needs to be done, we can do, right? But understanding is this, that in Golok Vrindavan or Govardhan Dham, Vrindavan Dham is not spiritual world, is not material world, it is spiritual world. And whatever happens there happens by the sweet will of Krishna for our advancement in Krishna consciousness. So understanding that, if this is the base, then our behavior with them, we have to practically do whatever is required to take back that mobile. But our behavior there will not be one of offensive, but it will be of whatever proactive behavior is required to get that mobile back. That will be a behavior.
Thank you.
Surely we cannot get exploited. And Prabhupada told that we should have that common understanding that we don't get exploited, and at the same time we don't offend them, right? So therefore, while you're going to do Govardhan Parikrama, or don't carry precious things, right? Money, don't carry too much money. If you're going to Govardhan Parikrama, better to go with another devotee and not carry much precious things like mobiles or gold bangles and all these things, right? Just in the plain mood of a simple devotee, go there, do Govardhan Parikrama and come back, right? That is much better. Otherwise, if all these things are there, then people will be behind us, and that will cause us a trouble.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, or we'll stop here? Okay, we'll stop here then. So tomorrow verse 10 and verse 11 are remaining, and OBA little bit I'll explain. Already that OBA, how to write OBA and everything is given in the handbook itself. You can go through that. If time permits, I'll explain. Right, and I'll tell you the two questions which you have to prepare for. Right. So now tomorrow we'll try to wrap up this all the verses, whatever is there. Only 2 verses are remaining. So so if you are able to see this thing, so next weekend is 4 and 5. So this 4 and 5 will be your sloka test. The 4 slokas are there. I'll be sharing the schedule also. I'll make the schedule in Excel file and I'll share in the group. So accordingly, you can be prepared for the sloka test. And then 11th and 12th, we will conduct your closed book test. And as one Mataji had asked that, I think Surabhi Priti Mataji had asked that whether we can come and write here. So those who are near NVCC, they can also come to temple, and in BVRV they can sit and write the exam. Hard copy will be given to you, so you can write the exam. So 11th, I'll let you the date. Will it be on 11th or 12th? I'll let you know the exact date. Please know that, please keep it in mind that this is the only date by which you can give your closed book test, right? After this, so please keep yourself free on these 2 weekends, right? If you're not able to write the exam, then it becomes very, very difficult for us to arrange an exam. And BVRB has clearly mentioned that we'll not be giving another slot for writing exam, right? So 4th and 5th will be a sloka test. 11th and 12th will be your closed book exam. One day will be a closed book exam, 1.5 hours, right? And 18th, 19th, your Ishopanishad will start. It will be taken by His Grace Kaustuv Prabhu, right, who had taken the orientation of this thing. So, and on 18th or by 19th, you need to submit the OBAs, the open book test, right? So, hopefully this clears, right? Yes, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So what will be the format of shloka test? Like we have to write shloka
No,
and translation or
oral.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell you the verse number. You need to tell the verse and the translation. Only this much.
Okay.
You need to mention the verse, right? Vacho vegam manasu krodham vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo vishayatadira prityamsha shishat, right? Verse, you tell the verse and the translation. Finished.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So one by one, it will be conducted for every.
Yeah, one on one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that timing slot I will share you. So accordingly, you can come live on the Zoom and you can do this thing. Okay, you need not be there for the entire session. Only when your timing is there, consider that 15-minute slot will be there. 11 to 11:15, one person. 11:15 to 11:30, one person. Like that.
This Krishna.
Hmm.
This sloka test and all the CPA that will happen in same timing, 11 to 1, or it can happen on any time of the day.
No, we will fix a day because 11 to 1 is the timing of the classes. So this only time we will fix because anyway, you know that this is the timing for classes. Correct now?
Next weekend, like I have a council meeting at my home, 10th, 11 Saturday. So like evening it will be there, like around 5 to 7:30.
So your test will be in the morning, no? 11 to 1.
So morning by afternoon it will be over, right?
Yeah, 1.5 hours time. Closed book test is 1.5 hours. If you want to write it online, you can write it online at your home, or if you want to come to VVRV, you can write here also.
Okay.
Online, if you want to write, you have to have two cameras. One is the front camera, one is side camera, where it will be shown that you are not copying. You are writing that paper properly. Any other questions, Prabhu? Purushottam, Prabhu?
Prabhu, do we have MCQ also as well as in closed book exam, or is it fully descriptive?
Analogies will be there. MCQs, no, multiple choice questions will not be there. Fill in the blanks will be there.
Okay.
Fill in the blanks and subjective. Fill in the blanks will be 1 marks or 2 marks. And then there will be 2 marks subjective questions, 4 marks subjective questions, and analogies. 5 analogies will come surely. So please thoroughly prepare for analogies. It will be 5 into 2, 10 marks.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
So 5 analogies, 50 marks paper will be there. Out of that, 5 analogies, some fill in the blanks will be there for 10 marks, and rest 30-40 marks will be subjective questions. 2 marks and 4 marks. If you have studied this, whatever closed book test questions are there, you'll be able to answer easily, not an issue. 80% will come from there only. And it will be easy. I don't think it will be very tough. If you prepare nicely, then it will be not a very difficult thing. Okay? Chalo, thank you. Hare